this time's not going to be about what goals should you set. This is about how to set goals that you can actually achieve. Hello and welcome to the Coil Coaching Thriving One. So glad you guys are with us today. We are excited.
Yes.
It is the new year.
New year. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. And today we have a great topic with you guys just to kind of launch out with this new year. We're going to be talking about healthy goal setting. But I want to jump in to share about some of the things that we want to share about what's coming on, what's just happened. Babe, what's happened?
Yeah. Well, what's happening with Coil Coaching is that we turned 1 year. Woo! So this last week, this week, January 4th, last year, 2021, we officially launched our Coil Coaching business. And we just want to say thank you so much to all of you who have supported us in our journey. A lot of things has happened this past year. We launched a few courses and we launched two programs.
I don't know what we were thinking, but we did it.
We did it.
And they're phenomenal.
Yes. So yeah, we are grateful, and there's some more exciting things for this next year.
Yes.
We are launching Matt's course on leading the heart.
Yeah.
So that's an exciting course. Babe, can you share a little bit what that course is about? Yeah.
So this course kind of birthed from our one of our programs that we run for 9 months with students, helping them walk through a holistic journey of touching every area of their life, personally, professionally, relationally. And one of the biggest things that we've noticed as we've been coaching people is one of the main areas that we as people get stuck is related around our belief system. And that has to do with the psychological soul side of our lives. You know, how do we get stuck in different mindsets? Why? How to resolve things so that we can step into what I would call thriving mindset or a successful mindset. And so leading the heart is all about allowing your spirit man to guide your soul into the calling, the success, the thriving place that God has intended us for. And so one of the biggest areas that I recognize is our emotions, our thought life, and our beliefs. And so leading the heart is about touching that area. And basically, it's really what the scripture talks about, renewing the mind. And you know, a lot of the renewing the mind comes with trading truths. So it's the renewing process is taking the truth of what I believe here with God's truth of love or unconditional love. And so it's so key that we understand how the soul was created to operate, so that it can be led by our spirit and the intention that God created us for. So leading the heart is basically, that's what it's going to be about. So if you're dealing with anxiety, fear, worry, concern, if you're dealing with mental stuck, or you're trying to get past something, this will be a time of getting tooled up to be able to walk successfully in that space. So
amazing.
So I'm excited about it.
Yes.
And it starts on the 14th, 5:30 on the West Coast PST time.
Yeah. So information on that, go to our Coil Coaching page on Facebook. It will have an information on how to sign up.
Come on.
Yep.
So excited.
Yes, we're excited. And the other thing too, I want to highlight is I will be launching Coil Coaching Women in February.
Come on, women.
Woo-hoo. So this has been a long time dream, a passion of mine, and with the encouragement of my husband over here, finally taking that step. You know, I just really want to have a place for women where we can all connect, we can collaborate, we can feel empowered, and we can grow and build. So whatever that looks like, you know, we are going to be sending out an email pretty soon here, where you guys can sign up and find a place where you can get in touch with our Facebook group, And then we will go from there. There's a lot of exciting things. So more details on that in an email later. But
So good.
we're excited. So we just want
Yeah.
to say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We are grateful for every single one of you.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Coil coaching.
Yay. But yeah, but today we do want to jump into the topic of healthy goal.
Say it, girl. Say it.
Healthy goal setting.
Yes.
So one of the biggest questions that we get asked, or I feel like one of you guys or a few of you, a number of you, several of you, many of you ask us, how would you define healthy goal setting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even with the start of this year right now, everybody's making their New Year's resolutions. And resolutions have to do with, I want to change something. I want to eat better. I want to, especially after the holidays, it's wintertime. We've been eating all the great holiday foods.
Yeah.
I want to work out. I want to better myself emotionally as a person, professionally, et cetera. And we're setting goals.
Yeah.
And I think this time's not going to be about what goals should you set. This is about how to set goals that you can actually achieve. Because I don't know about you, in my life, I've set a lot of goals and I have not met them. I might get into it for a week or two, and then I totally bomb for some reason, because there's things that come up. So situations, demotivation, etc. And so what we want to talk life, wife, kids, and job.
Yes.
What we want to talk about is how to create healthy goals.
Yeah.
And so how do you define healthy goals? I think I would change the word. I would define healthy goals as realistic and flexible.
Well, those are two good words.
So when I say realistic, and this is something that we work with our clients on, is be realistic with where you're currently at to accomplish the goal in front of you. And so there's a lot of things that inhibit us reaching our goals, be it motivation, discipline is a huge one. And there's a lot, that's a big topic that goes into that we can talk about another time. But, there's your ability of time, your ability of current skill, your relational connection, financial, so there's a lot of things that play into being realistic. And when I think about it, a simple way, I'll use something that's common. If someone wants to start working out or eating healthy, when they set a goal to work out, for me, I've learned over the years, especially now that I'm 40, I'm not 20 anymore. 42. Yes, I'm in the 40s. I'm in the golden hour. Probably not. I don't know what they call the 40s.
Oh,
not 43. Over the hill.
43.
I'm 43.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even.
My age is showing up. 40s. I just say 40s.
40s.
I stopped counting after 25 anyway.
So yes.
I always ask Lindsay, how old am I this year? But anyways, as you're setting goals, I've recognized that if I set a goal, let's say I want to start running 5 miles. Because I love running, right? And I go out there and I try to run 5 miles and I get injured right away, or I get hurt, or I get discouraged because I can't run my 8-7 minute mile pace, and I try to go out there and do it every day or every other day, depending on what my goal is. And I don't reach it. If I don't reach it, then I get discouraged. Discouragement turns into demotivation. Demotivation says, I'll try again another time. And I let the busyness of life come in.
Right.
So what I've kind of learned to do when I set a goal is I want to get out and start moving. So what does moving look like? Well, I want to do something that is fun and something that's active, something that I'm going to enjoy. And even with running, if I run in the same place over and over again, it starts to get stale and I start getting bored with it. And that will alleviate my motivation. So what I'll do is I'll go out and I'll go for a walk, or I'll go for a jog, and I'll go for maybe a 10-minute, 15, maybe 20-minute jog. And then I just start building up my goal. So instead of saying, I'm going to go run 5 miles today or next week, I'm going to start working towards reaching what I'm capable and realistically able to do. Instead of saying, I'm going to run a marathon, and as soon as I get to a certain spot and I can't, it kind of breaks that down, and then it doesn't become fun anymore. So I think goal setting, motivation, a motivation of fun needs to be an important part of your goal setting.
Yeah.
So be realistic, time, etc.
Be realistic in a sense where, like, if your goal was to bench press 50 pounds, then your personal trainer, is smart enough not to start you at 50 pounds.
Right.
He's going to assess, what you're capable of at the moment and build you up to that place.
Yeah.
So, so those, the distractions go away, disappointments go away in a sense, because you are celebrating your progress instead of perfection. You're
Right.
celebrating your growth
Yeah.
instead of being perfect. Like, oh, I got it the first time. So I think that's what being realistic and idealistic sounds like, when you partner those two, like, hey, my ideal goal is to bench press 50 pounds. I probably won't be able to do that. But the goal is, you celebrate your growth as you continue to progress. So I think that's one of the keys to be able to push through a healthy goal.
Yeah, for sure. And then the other thing is really helpful in having healthy goal setting is flexibility.
Yes.
So if your goal is to look a certain way, that's a goal that's admirable, I guess, depending on where your needs are and what you're wanting to go after. But what's most important, keeping that momentum, is being able to be flexible. When I say flexible, is life has uncontrollable things that happen.
Exactly.
So if we create flexibility within our plan, that is key.
Yeah.
So key to having success in reaching a goal or moving forward in what you want to accomplish.
Yeah.
And we have a favorite saying.
Yes, we have a favorite saying.
We used to fight about who came up with this saying or added to this famous saying.
Well, we are
and I'll let
one
you
and
say
the
it.
same.
I'll let you
We're
say
one
it.
and the same. Okay. So we used to, this is just to encourage students that we've mentored, students that we've discipled,
people that we've led.
Yes.
Teams that we've led.
In our teams, and for us too, as we are leading and growing at the same time. So we usually say, blessed are the flexible, for they shall not break, but they will bring breakthrough.
Come on.
So sometimes, or I would say 80-90% of the time, is your flexibility is the one that will keep you on track. But at the same time, surprisingly, it actually is very beneficial for your breakthrough, to get your breakthrough.
Yeah, because blessed are the flexible, for they shall not break, but they will bring breakthrough. Life brings breaking moments. Let's be real.
Yes.
And if a life breaking moment comes in for a week and you stop running and you're like, I want to pick right up where I left off. Well, that's not realistic. So that's where the realistic piece comes back in. You start back off, because the goal really is, like, for me, when I'm setting a goal and I have a healthy goal or healthy expectation, is I'm looking for my body to be healthy.
Right.
Now,
that's the goal.
Right.
Yes.
That's a realistic goal, instead of like, I'm going to do this. Now, I say go for it. If you want to run a marathon, you want to do a half marathon, you want to whatever the bigger items are. I think those are great to move towards if time allows. And I remember when I was prepping for a marathon that it took a lot of time of running, focusing on my diet, eating, getting the right energy in, etc., planning for the run so I don't injure my body. So for me, I had to be realistic that, do I have time to reach this goal?
Yeah.
No matter what, I want to be healthy in moving, in my movement. And if it's not fun, if you're not making it fun, and one of the ways I keep my workout routine fun is I mix it up. So I don't always jog or run, though I love getting out and doing that, especially during the winter time. And those of you up north in the deep winter, where it's not fun to get out at all, especially if it's blowing. Like, I have indoor workouts. So I have certain videos that I've found on YouTube that really help me work out those areas. So I do like fast workouts. So if I don't have a ton of time, I'll do like a 10, 20 minute,
that's good,
40 minute, an hour workout. If I have the time. And then I schedule those into my life. Yeah.
That's a really good expectations or expectancy, because we're going to come to that point, I'm just
Yeah, right.
done. But I think the key thing is doing something. And so when I'm working with clients, when I have this big goal, even if it's a healthy goal, there's overwhelmed. They're overwhelmed. It's overwhelming to them. Like, oh, that's the goal.
Mhm.
But I tell them, like, the key thing here is consistency.
Mhm.
That you are consistent with the things that you're moving forward with.
Right.
So as long as there's like, even if it's bite sized, so 50 pounds lifting, bench pressing, whatever, 50 pounds is a big goal. It can be a healthy goal depending on, like how you have been taking care of your body. But if you do 10 pounds consistently,
Mm.
And you build up to like, oh, okay, now I can do 15, now I can do 20.
Right.
The important thing is there is consistency.
Yes.
So when you're in that place, the realistic goal setting, the flexibility comes in. We're like, okay, I think I jumped the gun on 15. I'm going to scale back to 10, and I'm going to be consistent with that.
Right. So good.
Mhm.
Yeah, consistency is key, as they would
Yes.
say. And the next thing I would think about when I'm thinking about goal setting, healthy goal setting, is having healthy expectations.
Yes.
And this is something I learned a really hard life lesson on, and I'm still working on developing this area because I can still feel the catch up in it, and I know the why, and I work on it. But and that's important, knowing your constraints,
Yeah.
your limitations. But I learned this thing about expectations versus expectancy. And so I want to read some definitions here to kind of give some context here and maybe help rewire some of the thinking and wording that you use or you talk in your own mind about, and kind of shift how you progress consistently in healthy goals. So I want to read the definition of expectations here.
Yeah.
So an expectation is a strong belief that something will happen or be the case in the future. A belief that someone will or someone should achieve something. And so when I think about this definition, I think about something that's set in concrete.
Yeah.
Something that's not pliable, that's not flexible.
Yeah.
It says a strong belief of something that will happen. So I'm going to lose this amount of weight. I'm going to read a book every week. I'm going to, and the thing is when it's set in concrete and we don't reach that goal, it becomes very demoralizing, defeating, discouraging, all the D's, disappointing, right?
Right, the D's.
And that demotivates you to actually create consistency, like what you said.
And momentum and moving forward.
Right. So the key is like long-term goals aren't just like, okay, next week. It's about lifestyles.
Yeah.
Lifestyles create what I call the tapestry of who you are.
That's good.
And creates a reality that you're going to live in and experience the fulfillment that you're really created to experience.
Yeah.
And so expectancy, the definition expectancy is the state of thinking or hoping that something, especially something pleasant, will happen or be the case. So the state of thinking or hoping. Thinking and hoping is like a low, I call it low stakes. There's high stakes. Expectations is high stakes. If it doesn't happen, it's set in stone. It's going to be a bummer. It's going to be discouraging.
Right.
Expectancy is all about something good is going to happen. And I love the definition of hope, because expectancy, one of the words is hope, the hoping. I love this definition of hope: joyful expectancy that good will happen.
Yes.
The joyful expectancy that something good will happen. And I learned this the really hard way. When I met Lindsay, we were in the Philippines. I was doing missions work there, and we got married, relationship married. This is a short version, right? We came off the field and came back to the States. We took a year off just to focus on our relationship before we moved on to the next season. And when we moved on to the next season, I had these expectations of what was going to happen, how it was going to play out. and where we were going to go next.
Yeah.
All right. Because I'm a visionary, I'm a planner. And a part of that is I was like, this is how it's going to happen. So I pursued that. There was a job opportunity that I expected myself to get. I had an interview, had an opportunity. I was a shoo-in for this job. I didn't get it. When I didn't get it, I'm just going to say, it felt like my world was destroyed. Devastating is the word. I felt so devastated. And I just remembered that I blamed myself. I started blaming God subconsciously. And when we moved into the next season, we had moved to another place. We were getting established. I had another opportunity to do this job I wanted to do that would prep me for the future. And I had an interview. I was a great candidate, but I didn't get the job again. And I was just so destroyed. And the bummer thing about this, I was not a fun person to be around. Bless my wife. Okay, our marital problems were a big part me. And so,
and me.
You're right. We all have our parts.
Yes.
But from my
Maybe
perspective,
70-30.
Fair enough. So this really created a demoralizing situation. Luckily, God set me up. I did things I didn't want to do, but he directed me into it, and it really helped set me up to be in a space and to be around a specific person. I had a mentor in my life. His name is Steve Backlund, an amazing man of hope, joy, beliefs, believing in people. That really helped shift my mindsets from expectation into expectancy. And there was a phrase or a mantra that I began to say over myself to get out of the funk, to get out of the demotivated space. And my mantra was this: it's impossible that nothing good. How did I say it? It's impossible that I don't experience God's goodness today and in the season to come.
That's really good.
So I shifted into a mindset, and I shifted into a perspective of hope instead of what I would call law. Because my expectations were creating a law for me and God that it had to happen this way. Anybody out there experience that or do that in your own life? So what really empowered me was that mindset. And as I would speak that over myself, as I would encourage myself, I started recognizing the little things of good. That's good in the present moments. And in that season, I was cleaning toilets. I had this hilarious story I love to tell in that season. I call it my aha moment. I was cleaning a toilet. In that season, I was making that declaration, focusing on an expectancy of God's goodness instead of how it should play out. I'm cleaning a toilet, and I have an aha moment. And the aha moment happened when I did this. I said, Lord, I bless the person that's going to sit on this toilet. May they encounter and experience you.
That's really good.
And in that moment, I said, I'm being present in the moment of God's goodness. Instead of being discouraged, the fact that I'm cleaning a toilet when I'm highly capable of doing so much more.
Wow. And I'm going to say this, I watched you go through that, and I'm going to say I'm really proud of who you have become. You become who you are now, and excited to who you are becoming. And because we've learned in the expectations and expectancy part, the expectations is geared around external things. The expectancy part is geared internally. So it's like external and internal. So that's why the flexibility part is so key in all of this, whether it's based on expectations or expectancy. It's like we also train our clients, based on our experience with our failures and our disappointments, is how to train them and coach them into dealing with these disappointments, all the D's that we mentioned earlier, so the mindset shift from, okay, are we going to rely on our external expectations to fulfill us, or are we going to rely on an internal process for our development, for our expectancies, so I think you've done a really great job, babe, for getting to where you're at now, and now we're able to help a lot of people
Right.
through that process.
Right. And here's the thing, when it comes to discouraging experiences, my wife has an amazing quote that I'm going to quote her
Ooh,
on
okay.
that she probably got from somewhere else. No, I don't know.
Maybe.
That it's not about win or lose.
Yes.
It's about win or
learn.
And that's key is to, in my situation, I could keep focusing on the negative things that were happening, or I could say, what am I learning and doing in this moment?
Yeah.
Or what you say.
Yeah, I think that's key. What do I say?
What you say is, what can I do different?
Yes. So we go through this with the clients. Like, it's not, if your mindset is win or lose, then you're always going to be striving to win, because winning is positive and losing is negative, and nobody wants that. But if your mindset shifts from win or lose to win or learn, then as long as you're learning, you're never really losing, because you're winning and then you're learning, and I've learned a lot that when you are in that sense, like when you felt like you're losing, when you're failing, you actually are learning more when you are in that situation.
That's right.
So I encourage my clients to be like, okay, win or learn. So what can I do, or what will I do? And then we start asking the questions, what can we do instead?
Right.
So
that's so good.
A lot of options, like solutions based, and I heard this quote, not from me. I think it was Albert Einstein. He said, stay away from negative people because they always have a problem to every solution.
Oh gosh, that's so good.
So
true.
Like,
I've known that experience personally.
So anyway.
And so, and from that is this fact that it's like life teaches us lessons.
Yes.
And if those lessons are viewed through failure or fear, opposed to love and encouragement and hope, you're always going to repeat them.
Right.
But
it's a cycle.
Yes. But if you don't learn the lesson and move through it with success, you'll always stay in that space. Right. And that's what was happening to me in those early years of our marriage. Was when we came back to the States and we were getting established, was I kept doing that. I kept making that mistake until I learned it. Yeah. Thank God for mentors in our life and God's presence and His Holy Spirit. But I had to do something about it. And so, and obviously, as I've grown, it's like this voice that's like, oh, that's such an easy place to go back to.
Right.
Let's go back to the chair of potato chips and doing nothing. And
it's easier.
It's easier, and that's
more comfortable.
And that's the ploy. That's the lure to come back into that place of complacency. But one of the things I've really learned is when I recognize it, I make a shift.
That's good.
And as we wrap this up, I think what we'll do is we'll continue into how to recognize this in our next podcast.
Yeah, because I think you have a great, a little bit more of the second part of this, like where Matt's going to talk about, or we are going to discuss, how do I know if I am setting expectations instead of living from a life of expectancy?
Right.
So we're going to dive deeper into that in our next podcast. But we felt like this is a great start, kind of put the ground, ready the ground and all that, leading so we can lead the heart.
Right. And so that's the key. Like, as we're just landing here, another part of this course is about leading the heart. And this is the aspect, is how do I recognize what's going on inside, have the tools to navigate through it, to be on the side of success, how to walk through that. And so in my course, Leading the Heart, that's what one of the key things we'll be talking about, the tools to how to recognize your specific things. Because we all have things, you have things, I have things that limit us in not living a thriving life, living the success that we really want to, and God's drawing us towards. So thank you guys so much for joining us. We look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. And until then, be blessed. Enjoy setting healthy goals. Bye-bye.